Terry Sterling is the general manager of Garden Grove, which is a retirement home in Morningside in Durban. And he's been under lockdown for a day longer than everybody else and has kept him and his staff in total quarantine, completely shut off from the outside world. We asked Terry how he was dealing with it, the logistics and the emotions of his staff and his residents. T, tell us about your life and tell us how things are. You made the decision 21 days ago to lock down with your residents and 70 odd of your staff. Why did you choose to go down into that containment?
It was the weekend before lockdown started, Greg, where I think my partner Case thought I'd gone bananas, where I started making little notes and planning what is going to happen from what I was seeing on the TV of what was going on in Italy and China at that stage. So I realized the main thing would be to limit the infection. And the only way to do that was to lock down the building as soon as possible. So I moved in on the Monday. My assistant manager came on the Tuesday. And we got the staff all moved in on the Wednesday and locked down then. The country then locked down on the Thursday. So I thought we were almost able to be one day ahead to help us. And we've tried to go off the grid by having all the stock we needed. We hired extra a refrigerator and a cold room so that we've got extra groceries, extra food in case the food chain becomes compromised, because that worried me. Luckily, so far, the food chain's been fine. We haven't had a challenge. So we've got our reserve stock if it still goes wrong. The biggest challenge we had in locking down early was the residents not understanding why we were banning them. The week before lockdown, we stopped them going out. We stopped all the outings, we stopped the shopping centers, and the huge issue was we stopped the families. But because I heard that some of the families were positive with coronavirus, I realized if we let them in, we were risking the residents and the staff. So we banned them a week early, but it caused a lot of dramas, a lot of cross people, a lot of irritated families wanting to see their parents. But the truth is, it's what's helped save us, because those positive families would have come in to see their parents.
T, please tell us about the ratio of staff to residents and how you've managed to create a community of people who would ordinarily go home, and where are you all staying, and how would you describe the vibe between residents and workers, and how are workers dealing with not going home? And so while they might be physically safe, must be anxious about their families and need to keep in touch with them. And it's a surreal situation, to say the least.
What we've got is, luckily we've got empty flats. So I bought mattresses and we've got the staff staying in those flats. We only have half our normal amount of staff of what we normally have. We would normally have about 105 staff members on site. So we're running with 74 staff members. The challenge is, because of our lockdown, we've been going for 23 days. So it's 23 days of the staff working every day, working long hours. In some cases, we're doing split shifts. But there is the most beautiful camaraderie that's come up between the staff and the residents, where the residents are talking to the staff more about their families and asking them. You know, it's a little more closer. There's a division between the workers and the residents seems to have been diluted a bit. I think it's because everyone's stuck in here and can't go anywhere. So for the residents to know that staff are off duty, they're in their civvies. But that's becoming blurred because the washing of the clothes is such a drama. You know, we can't send our outside laundry, so we're washing here. And stringing wash lines up in the car park. So not quite the premier retirement center we'd like to be. Everyone is managing. The staff are coping. They are hearing about families that are infected. So we get different stories each day. And then you get the residents whose families are infected. And we've got the good stories where residents' kids have done the full circle, or residents' family. And now
Now they're negative.
they fine. The logistics of sleeping on the floor is heavy going. And we've tried to create, in the residence lounge, we've created a TV lounge for the staff. Our frail care dining room, we've turned into a staff dining area. And we're trying to still keep following social distancing. The one area where we could fall down is we're having to get medicines delivered in.
So that's your contact with the outside world, is medicine.
That is it. So we're sanitizing the products in the bag and the bag itself. But that is our challenge. We've got one staff member, Sean, who is on the outside, and he's collecting and delivering items that we need. We try to be off the grid as much as possible. There's still a lot of residents' families coming to try and see their parents, where it's awkward, where we've created a barrier so that they can't have contact with each other, but they can wave to each other. People seem desperate for hugs. Need that physical contact. It's 3 weeks of no one having a hug or a handshake or a kiss.
Wow, you're doing a wonderful thing in the in hosting these candlelight hymn sessions, and it strikes me that that's a very I found it very moving to see the videos of it.
And it's a non-denominational sort of feel. It's different songs. People just come up with the song and the others follow on. So residents are watching from their verandas or from their windows. Some come down onto the veranda, and then the staff are all spaced out on the lawn. You know, my average age here at Garden Grove is 88 years old. So pretty much the whole building is vulnerable. I then have 46 people over 90. It's terrifying of what could happen, and we only need one infection for it to go terribly wrong. What frightens me is, what do we do post-lockdown? How do we move forward? How do we let the staff go and the new staff come back in? And how do we safeguard the residents and the staff? And I mean, every time one of these hospitals comes up that are in lockdown, I mean, KZN, as you know, has had a tough chapter with
two hospitals at least.
Augustine is hideous, but it could easily have been Garden Grove getting mentioned there, or any other retirement centre. So the admin of the building still has to carry on. You try and stick to a budget. Corona's obviously messed up every business's budget. It's a success story so far.